Hi, Wendy Chadwick here. I teach at an elementary school in Denver Public Schools, and I wanted to address why it's so important for students to have read-alouds in elementary classrooms. You probably already have heard the research on the simple view of reading, but that listening comprehension, the language comprehension, it's also called linguistic comprehension, and that is essential. It's the other half to the equation. There's decoding, and then there's language comprehension or linguistic comprehension. And the way students do that is by talking to their parents, talking to their friends, talking to their teachers. Another way that's really important is listening to stories. Because when we listen to stories, we get to hear that there's a structure. It's not just random words on a page. There's a beginning and a middle and an end. So when kids are reading their own stories, doing their own reading, they will already know, okay, this is the beginning part, this is what happens at the beginning, and this is the middle, and this is the end. As kids move through elementary school, then they'll get to hear, oh, there's other chapters. There's a beginning and a middle and end of a chapter. And then these things climax, and then there's like a moment of doubt that the main character has. So they get to really understand on a deeper level the different structures. As you know, one of the best ways to introduce vocabulary is through stories. A really important part that kids benefit from listening to read a story out loud is understanding grammar. They can then hear subject-verb agreement. Then when they run across those words after they've learned how to decode, then they'll say, oh, that's not the right verb that goes with that. So when they're writing their own sentences, the more they understand verbal language, the better they'll be able to edit their own writing. Some examples of reading aloud could be reading a book like Geronimo Stilton. Geronimo Stilton has some great, fun, different fonts that really accentuate when we're reading these things. And so that's really fun. And the goal of this feature 7, which is reading books aloud, is not the connected text part. So if I'm working on a specific phonogram, I'm not going to stop and point it out necessarily, but we're really looking more at the rich language and the vocabulary. Another example of a great read aloud would be a book like Warriors. And in this book, obviously there aren't any pictures. I've heard some teachers have students draw their own pictures. At the end of each chapter, another student might go back and review the chapter for all of the students. So that could be a fun thing you could do in class. Another example of read-alouds could be these great DK books where they have lots of visuals. It's great for kids to do lots of visuals. And this one is just about Buddhism, so I might use this to introduce a new topic to students. And it's a great example of how you can really dive into some of the vocabulary there. How many read-alouds are too many read-alouds? Can there be too many read-alouds? I try in my elementary school, lower elementary school class to do 4 or 5 read-alouds a day. You can find a million apps online, and on YouTube there's Story Online that has movie stars and different people reading stories to children. Again, when we look at the simple view of reading, it's decoding or word level reading, automaticity, and language comprehension. Language comprehension is not something they're doing while interacting with the written page. Language comprehension is done through speaking and listening to you read books aloud. Thanks. Have a great day.